So there's a guy on Reddit asking the following question. Am I the asshole for using a language learning app to meet girls?
Okay. Why? What's with the subterfuge already?
I don't know.
Okay, go on.
Okay. I recently introduced my new girlfriend to a friend, and she found it a bit unusual that she also happened to be Chinese, just like my ex-girlfriend. She then wanted to know if I use an app and just swipe right on Chinese girls and left on all the other ones. I told her I didn't use an app like that since it was too superficial and didn't give you a good chance to get to know a girl naturally and convince her with your personality.
This guy is building himself up, isn't he? I'm getting a very big
Convince her with your personality.
I'm getting a big self-serving vibe from this guy already.
Then she wanted to know how I met them, since the share of Chinese people is not too high in our city. So I mentioned how I was on this language learning app and how you could search for people from your city. Then I just chose some of the girls who were cute and reasonably young and messaged them if they searched for a language learning partner. Then later you could just say you wanted to meet up to practice together, and for that you can also do something fun, like go to a coffee shop and later other places like the zoo together and just talk there. It's a win-win situation. Either get a good language learning partner and friend who also probably has a lot of nice female friends, or if it turns out well, you can become a couple after some time.
That's very telling, isn't it? She might have some friends.
Oh god. I think this is the ideal method, and since I want to practice anyway, this way I don't lose time hanging out with boring women.
He's got a high opinion of himself, isn't
he? But my friends seemed to find it a bit weird and said this was surely not what this app was intended for. She even said she might have to call me out on being creepy, and then said she hadn't thought I'd be that kind of guy. I feel like she's taking offense with this for no real reason. Am I the asshole here?
Okay. So, well, let's just meet one thing head on. If you're posting in "Am I the asshole?", you might suspect you're already the asshole. Otherwise, you wouldn't be posting it. Mm-hmm. That aside, yeah, yeah, you are, man.
Yeah, that's weird. So, oh god,
that's just a disaster.
So that means he's on these apps. He's searching particularly for Chinese women, and he's pretending as like, oh, I'm so interested in learning the language, and just kind of tricking them into thinking it's something different than it actually is. He's not being honest about his intentions. And in this case, I actually think he probably should get it on a dating app, because if he wants to date someone, at least on dating apps, you're being honest about your intention of dating them. Mm-hmm. And that's what fucks with me the most, because it's like, why can't you just be honest about being creepy, you piece of shit?
Why can't you just creep on people who are expecting to be crept on? You know, that's what Tinder and Bumble and stuff is for. They're not expecting it on a language app where they're expecting some skill sharing and some networking opportunities and stuff like that. But also, it's just not a good strategy.
Yeah.
So what is his goal here? So he spent the first significant paragraph building himself up very subtly, trying to insinuate that he had a great personality. And
what a wonderful personality to like trick people into dating you.
Exactly.
What a winner.
But what he's looking for is, he's clearly fetishizing Asian women to start with. Mm-hmm. So he's looking either for someone to teach him, was it Chinese?
I think it was Chinese, yeah.
Okay, so he's looking for someone to teach him Mandarin that he also wants to fuck, or, as he so magnanimously said, doesn't want to fuck him, but might want to fuck their friends. You know, he's just looking for a foot in the door somewhere, isn't he?
It's gross. And honestly, I've met guys like this, and it's frustrating, and it's I've known a couple of people like this that I've interacted with, and you know, who continuously keep only dating either Asian women or like foreign women in general, because they somehow feel like they're gonna be more like traditional or submissive and whatever. I hate it, and it's like, I never really gave it a thought when I was living in Finland, just because obviously I'm a Finnish person living in Finland, never, you know, had to experience that. And obviously I'm white as shit, so I'm not saying, like, this is nothing compared to what some Asian women have to deal with, but...
I just want to add in and elaborate on that. Rimmer is the whitest person you will ever meet. She is whiter than a dead ghost.
I'm so white.
And that's coming from an Irishman.
Yeah, thank you.
Carry on.
But when I moved to the US, I noticed a pattern of a lot of guys being very interested in me, but they would always, one of the first things they would like bring up was the fact that I was European. And not Finnish, just, oh, she's European. Yeah, I like European women. Like, that would be their pickup line. Like, I would be, like, sitting on campus just, like, eating a sandwich, and someone comes up to me and is like, I like European women. Because they heard me on the phone with, like, my dad or my brother, like, speaking Finnish, right? And it's like, I like European women. And it's like, a couple times I gave these types of guys the chance to, you know, get to know them. And I'm like, maybe, you know, they're just socially awkward. Then I noticed their dating pattern. It's like all Eastern European and Asian women. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to be added to your weird list, your weird sex list of, so I think it's fine to have preferences, say, for, if you have a preference to communicate with someone in a certain language that you speak, that's different. These preferences come from very misogynistic views. Yeah. And I don't fuck with that. It's also weird because it's like, you ask these guys, sometimes they have a girlfriend, you ask them like, oh, what do you like about your girlfriend? And it's like, oh, she's really hot and she's Chinese. And I'm like, so, anything else?
So
like, she's a fucking human being, dude. She's not, what?
What do you guys talk about? What interests do you share, that kind of thing?
Exactly. It's
or is the fact that she is, to use another outdated term, exotic?
But I'm gonna puke.
Is that just enough for you?
But I have lived in Finland, lived in Germany, lived in the US, but you have lived in China. So now I'm curious, have you been fetishized?
Huge amounts. Yeah, it used to happen several times a day. Like
I fetishized you, I think.
Yeah, because of my wonderful BBC accent. My BBC accent.
Don't say it like that.
Yeah, it used to happen in China all the time, in small and big ways. Without going on too much of a tangent about racism in China, yes, Chinese girls would want to fuck me just because of my accent. Same in America.
Yeah, so like you told me when you went to New York, everyone's like, you say 2 words with your accent, and everyone just melts into a puddle.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, okay. It's bizarre. It happens here in Germany too.
You know, I've seen a couple of people, like, when we're, like, walking and talking, and they hear your accent, they're, like, kind of staring at you,
and
like,
then there's just panties on the floor. You know?
Don't say that. No, there's not. He's making that up.
I can't pull off the word panties either. In England, we say knickers. There's just knickers everywhere.
I'm never going to use that word. Anyway,
the point being, this guy is an asshole.
He's an asshole, and although I would like to also mention that although we were talking about our own experiences being fetishized, we're in no way claiming that this is anywhere near as bad as, like, say, Asian women have it. Because there's, like, the whole weeb culture, and yeah, no, it's nowhere close to that. So it's only a very small fraction of, you know, what that would be like. If anyone experiences a guy like this approaching them, or a girl for that matter, run. You don't want to date them because they're only dating you for something you have no control over, and they don't see you as a human being.
And they don't deserve to share your language.